Long, long ago, on a high mountain, there was an ancient, small temple. There lived a little monk in the temple. He worked very hard every day. After getting up in the morning, the little monk would take the bucket and walk step by step to the well at the foot of the mountain to fetch water. Although the road was long and the bucket was heavy, the little monk never slacked off and filled the bucket every day. Gulp, gulp! The little monk drank the sweet well water, feeling delighted. The flowers in the temple blossomed beautifully, nourished by the water. One day, a tall and thin monk came. He saw that the small temple was very quiet and decided to stay and practice. Now there are two monks in the temple. The tall monk said to the young monk, "Let's carry water together. It'll be easier this way." So, the two monks carried a long shoulder pole and a bucket down the mountain to fetch water. 1, 2, 1, 2. They shouted slogans and marched in unison, and soon the water tank was filled. The two of them divided the work and worked together, and their lives were pretty good. After a while, a third monk arrived at the temple. He was a chubby, plump monk. He smiled and said, "It's great here. I want to live here too." 现在寺庙里有3个和尚了，但是问题来了。Three monks sat together to discuss fetching water. The youngest monk said, "I'm the youngest, so you two older brothers should fetch the water." The tall monk said, "I'm the thinnest and have no strength. Fat brother should fetch the water." The fat monk waved his hand and said, "I'm the fattest and walk slowly. Younger brother is younger and stronger. You push me, I push you. No one wants to fetch water." The result? The water jar is empty, and the three monks have no water to drink. For several days in a row, the sun scorched the earth and the weather was extremely dry. The flowers and plants in the temple were all wilted, and the three monks were so thirsty that their lips were cracked, but no one was willing to fetch water. They sit in the yard all day, staring at each other, but they don't go to fetch water. One night, a little mouse was foraging for food in the temple. It hopped over to the altar and accidentally knocked over a lit candle. With a snap, the candle fell onto the dry wood. Oh no! The flames leaped up and grew larger and larger. Fire! Fire! The three monks were awakened by the thick smoke and watched the flames rising into the sky. At this point, they were too busy arguing to care about anything else. If they didn't put out the fire quickly, the whole temple would be burned down. The young monk grabbed the bucket and ran to the well. The tall monk and the fat monk also hurried to take action. Hurry, hurry, hurry. They kept going back and forth between the well and the temple. The young monk runs fast because he is young. The tall monk has long arms and can reach far. And the fat monk is strong and can carry a lot of water. The three people cooperated very well, pouring bucket after bucket of water on the flames. After a night of hard work, the fire was finally put out. Although the temple was badly burned, the main buildings were saved. The three monks were exhausted, but they breathed a sigh of relief when they saw the fire was extinguished. From then on, the three monks understood the truth. Unity and cooperation are more important than anything else. They worked together to rebuild the temple. The younger monks were responsible for moving smaller materials. The taller monks were responsible for higher work, and the fatter monks were responsible for moving heavier items. Everyone worked together and soon made the temple more beautiful than before. The three monks went together to fetch water every day. Now the water jar is always full, and the temple is filled with laughter and joy.
Children, this story tells us, one monk has water to drink, two monks carry water to drink. Three monks should have had an easier time. But why did they have no water to drink? Because they all wanted others to do the work while they slacked off. But when faced with real difficulties, only unity can solve the problem. The story ends. Children, do you think the three monks became smarter in the end?